everybody, this is Scott Johnston with North Beach Community TV and northbeachnow.com, and we are at North Beach Junior Senior High School for the HIACS Track Team Awards event. And this is head track coach Peter Fry. And give us just a hint. I understand there's something very special about what the team achieved this year.
Right, so the team itself, we had a really great year. And so tonight's about individual accolades, but also the team was able to win a league championship for both the boys and the girls, which has never been done in the history of our school. So that's something that's part of the celebration tonight that we're excited to do.
All right, and they're ready to rock, so stay tuned, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so let's go right into the season highlights. For me, I'm Coach Fry, okay? My coaching staff is up here too, okay? And I'll talk about them as I go. But this year, coaching with us, okay, Fiona Dykes is right here. You know, volunteer for us, okay? Yeah, do it. Clap her up. I love it. Okay, Fiona helped me with the throws. She's a HIAC athlete not too long ago, like just a year ago, really. And so she's a good help. She's really good at connecting with the kids, and she really helped with all that. She's always a really great helper. So that's really, really good for me too. And she keeps me organized and helps me in that way too. Okay, secondly, my brother Kyle Fry, give your hand. Kyle Fry, this year. Okay, Kyle just got a high school himself too, so he's young and energetic, and he helped primarily. He helped with a lot of great things as we needed, but the main thing he helped with was hygiene. He helped me out with a lot of hygiene this year, because that's kind of the thing that he did. And it was really valuable to me because I'm really busy as the coach, so it's nice because there was one event where he was just kind of running the ship. And it was really good for me to be able to branch out and do everything, so we appreciate him. Okay, also, Coach Frank, how you doing? Coach Frank! Coach Frank! Yeah! Coach Frank and I have been together for, I think it's 5 or 6 years now, right? Okay, and so he came on and he's been volunteering for us. He's been doing the distance running primarily most of that time. And so his kids, what was kind of cool is the kids in Coach Frank's training group had probably one of their best years in my head coaching career here. And we took a few kids to state in the distance events, which hasn't been done in quite a while. So that was really, really good for his group. And he really cranked it up as far as their training intensity this year, and they responded. So we have Coach Frank to thank for that. Okay, and lastly, my assistant coach in the throws, Coach Justin Wickstrup. Yeah! Okay, Justin, he did his first year coaching with me. He was the throws man, and I had a lot of fun with Coach Justin. He was a really great addition to our staff, and one thing that I really liked about him is that he was super energetic, and so he kept me. He always was able to light my fire too. And so I kind of remember a lot of cool bus rides with him when we were just having a great time, and that kind of bled over into the kids, and so we liked that a lot too. So thank you, Coach Justin, for being part of it. Okay, this is my 7th year as head coach for North Beach High School, 9th year as head coach overall, and this one kind of like knocked my socks off when I looked at this. 15th year of coaching track in my career. Okay, so I'm getting up there, I'm doing it. So, things that we thought of. It was pretty cool and a real thrill to do a full season again, okay, because this was the first year coming off the year where we didn't get to do sports at all. Okay, the COVID thing really went crazy. And then last year was kind of like sneaking back into it, where it was just basically this little half season that we got to do, which was fun, but it was just kind of this little, almost a tease in a way, okay? So we got back to the full one this year. We were really excited about that. There were challenges, victories, and we were all challenged to be our best. So now here's some highlights of our team's performance this year, okay? So Kyle, get to your thing, man. First, the boys team, okay? We had several first place finishes in league meets, okay? We ended up being 11th in the district and 20th in the state. And when we say 20th, it's like, okay, fair, but that's out of like 50, 50 or 55 schools or whatever it is, so it's not bad, okay? And so the boys team was, and when I was looking through our awards tonight that I'm going to give, kind of a characteristic of the boys team was we had some experience at the top, meaning like some seniors and juniors that have done it a lot and had some experience and were high-level medal winners for us. And then we had a whole slew of first-year people. And a lot of them freshmen, but a lot of sophomores and some juniors and even a senior or two that were just their first year. And I attribute that to being like I said, post-COVID, and we get kids rolling again. And so I found myself with the boys team this year doing so much of this, where I've been used to having teams sometimes that had like deep experience. So in practice or in meets and such, there would be times where I would be struck with the fact that kids ask me certain questions, like, what should I do? Or how do I deal with this? And then I would say, you don't know how to do that? And then I'd go, oh yeah, you've never done that, right? So that happened a lot of times with our boys team, where they just needed to like learn the basics again. And it was refreshing for me as a coach because I kind of got to do a reset. So that was really cool. But the boys, they won lots of league meets on depth. Like we just had so many kids in events where other people would only post like 1 or 2 people to that event. We would have 4 or 5, 6, okay? And that was true when we got to League 2, which I'll talk about in a second. So the boys team, young, but deep. And that bodes well for the future, so we're excited about that too. Okay, switching gears, we'll do it in a second. Okay, to the girls team, okay? The girls team also was able to win a few league meets, okay? They were able to do so as well. For them, they were, and I'll talk about this, but this detail as far as what they were able to do in districts and state will kind of reveal what I'm about to say too. They ended up taking 5th in the district, and that's out of 22. Like the district was big this year. We had a couple other schools like go on to us, which we weren't too but they did. Okay, and then 13th at state. That's out of 50. Okay, so that's really pretty good. Okay, but our girls team, the kind of theme of our girls team this year was small but mighty. Okay, meaning we only had 11 girls when it was time to at the very end of the season. We had a few that kind of tried and didn't make it or whatever, but 11. And we only had 1 freshman and a couple sophomores, so it's mostly junior and senior weighted for our girls team. And so they were able to do some big things with not very many kids. So it just means that they have a lot of experience and a lot of depth and a lot of like really high caliber track for our girls team out of not very many kids. So it's really cool. Okay, but now this was really cool too. The really cool thing that became, and I'll speak on it for just a moment. It became a goal of the team, kind of maybe midway through the season. Where one thing that happens in track, and those that do it, like those kids in the room are going to understand this, and parents that have done track too will understand a little bit too, but generally, in track, it's kind of an individual sport. You do your own thing, you run, jump, throw, and shoot, okay? But there's a team element too, and the team element is, depending on how well you can do, you earn points for your team, okay? And I mean, the example is first place, 10 points, nice. All the way down to 8th place, 1 point, okay? And that's kind of how it works. So, about halfway through the season, maybe like week 5 or 6 or something like that, out of 11, 12, we as a team, and it's kind of starting with me, looked at our form chart for our league and said, you know what, I think we might have a chance to win the league championship. We might be able to do that, okay? And so I started talking to the kids about that and started like planting the seed in their brains. The girls team and the boys team started looking at that. And because you can kind of forecast, like, depending on how good your kids do, how well you're going to score at the league meeting, okay? So, fast forward, we were preparing in that way, and there were some ups and downs with that, where we thought certain kids could do certain things, and then they couldn't, and there were some things happening. But when we got to the league meet itself, the league championship meeting, going into it, me as the head coach, and my coaching staff, we kind of looked at it like this. We thought that our girls team, even though they're not very big, there's not too many of them, we thought they were going to they're going to win. Like on behind closed doors, that's what we said to each other. Okay, we were saying things like that. Okay, but then it was interesting because the boys team, we thought we had a shot, but we're like, I don't know if we can do it. Like I don't know if we can actually make it happen. Because for the boys team, like I said, for the girls team, we had this indication that the girls were going to be able to win several events. This one, like that. For the boys team, we were like, I don't know if we're going to win any of them, okay? Not in a mean way to the boys, but like, are we going to be able to sneak out enough points? And that's the way it looked, okay? However, now fast forward to the day it actually happens, okay? At the league meeting. I don't know how it particularly happened, but let's talk about the boys team first. The boys team, everybody who was slated to get whatever place they were going to get, like on the form chart, I'm going to get 3rd or 4th or whatever it is. When I say everybody, maybe not everybody, but basically everyone jumped up what they should have done. Like they were like, I'm going to get 4th. I got 2nd, okay, and the other guy got whatever. And so our throwers really stepped up that day. You remember that, right? And so in the end, our boys won the league championship by a whopping like 50 points. We almost doubled up the next team. It wasn't even close. It was like a spank show, which was a super great surprise in a way. Yeah. Okay. And then on the girls' side, the girls, it was interesting, and this is not pulling any punches, but for them, they actually had to lead me. They had to do a whole bunch of things, and the girls will understand. The girls that are in this room will understand what I mean. They had to do a whole bunch of things in a really short amount of time and do it really good. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, this meet's only going to last like an hour and a half, and you're going to run like four races. You're going to run 4 races in like an hour. You're going to win them all. Like, that had to happen. Okay? And so they tried to do that. And some of the girls stepped up a little bit, and other ones kind of fell a little bit. And so at the very end, it ended up being extremely close, like closer than we thought. But at the very end, okay, and so the thing is, every event counts, okay? But there was kind of like, as far as the story goes for the girls' team, the final event of the track meet is the 4x4 relay, like the infamous, like dreaded 4x4 relay. It's a gut bomb, basically, what it is, okay? But long story short, our girls 4x4 team ended up, they did it, man. They flexed on everybody, okay? And they just cemented it. And that cemented our victory by 12 points because we got first. We got an extra 10, so we were within 2, which was really, really close. So the girls did it as well. So without further ado, afterward, and that was one of the things that was like really a calling card for our kids, is I said, hey, let's hang a banner in the gym, man. It's been several years, and like, we haven't been a track meet in a long time, so we were able to do that. So without further ado, Kyle's the cool man, okay? Boys and girls, specifically track and field champions. Good! Here we go. Yes! Okay, really, really good. All right, so that was really exciting. For me, that was the first time. I've had state champions, and I've had that kind of stuff individually, but as a team, that's one of the biggest things I've ever been able to have the team accomplish while I was coaching. So I was really proud of that. It's really cool. And if I didn't say so, our team's never been able to do that, okay? And I went to my dad, who coached for 20 years, and Ed Garrity, who still lives around here and coached for many years before that, and those like old, wise veterans told me, they're like, we've never done this, that's awesome. And so it was pretty cool. It was kind of cool to talk to the old sage advice people, you know what I mean? It's really cool. Okay, so it's really awesome. We're really excited about that. So let's go to the next part. Okay, we're going to do some individual awards. And so what we'd like to do is, depending on what year a kid was as far as the letter goes, we're going to bring them up, and then we're going to say the things about them. I'll say some things, okay, and then the coaches will say some things too if they'd like, okay? And we'll go from there. So we're going to bring these kids up first, and we've got some awards for you and the like, okay? So here we go. Okay, first year letter winners. Here it comes, okay? So when I call your name, come up here. Carissa, what's the matter? Carissa. Noah, Nicole. Addie Badger. Carissa, come back. You gotta get some stay out of you. Come up here. Hey, stay up there and make a line. You love it.
Addie's even got a state thing. That's awesome.
Evan Barrett is not here yet. Here he comes.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Logan Ward. Carter Jocelyn. Aiden Fulbright. Come on up here. Tomas Brandenburg. Daddy.
Yes, I know.
Wyland Lobeco. Sawyer Moyer. Anna Howe. Wyatt Holt. And Elton Rocky. Come on up, Elton. Okay, so these are your first years, okay? So we're going to say a few things about them. Okay, let's start with Addie. Okay, Addie was, so when I talk about you, come to me, let's go. Okay, Addie was our only freshman girl, right? Only freshman girl, okay, which I'm a little bit worried about, but I'm like, get some of your classmates out, okay? So we're going to work on that. We're going to work on that. But Addie started the season thinking about doing hurdles and other sprints and things like that. We kind of played with hurdles for a while. That got kind of weird, okay? We might go back to it as she grows and stuff. Okay, she was brave, which is cool. But at the end of the year, we kind of got her sprinting, doing some long jump / triple jump, and then we got her doing some pole vault, which was really good. Okay, so we think for a while, she'll days for pole vault for a little bit, a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, we were not making progress. We were just like, you gotta jump. You know what I mean? And so like, it was looking bleak for a while, and I was like, you have to actually, like, I was doing my like coach thing where I'm like, now why people? Just little things like, you know what I mean? Like, so it wasn't happening for a while, but then it just started to happen, like, especially on me. It just started doing it. It just started doing it. It started figuring it out. So we think that's going to be a big thing for her, a big thing for our team. So we're so glad to have her. She's such a sweetheart. Addie back. Give her a hand. Okay, Dylan Cole, give it up, Dylan. Yes. Okay, Dylan's the first year guy. Dylan also did a lot of different things. He's kind of a jack of all trades, and we had to throw a little bit, jump a little bit, and sprint a little bit, and so we had to do all those things. So I don't know if we've really settled just yet on like what his best thing is going to be, you know. But of course, because he's a freshman, he had to do a lot of things that I just tell him to do. Like, Dylan, you know what you're doing today? 400. Okay, he's like, what? Okay, and so he's actually pretty good at that. So he's got pretty good speed, and he's pretty tough, and so that might be a home for him, I'm hoping, okay, because it's really valuable to our team. He's a soft-spoken guy, but he works hard, and so I think as he continues to gain experience, he's just going to get better, which is cool. He's got some natural speed, which is really helpful for us, okay? Dylan Polk, give him a hand. Okay, next man, Noah Akio, give him a hand, Noah. Noah came to us from middle school, and so like flowing up to middle school from 8th grade, as league meet and stuff in 8th grade, he won several events like 100 high jump and stuff, so we're like, nice. Okay, so we just already know that he's going to be good, okay? He's going to be a good high school athlete. And so he comes up to us. He's got good speed. One thing that was interesting for us is that this year, we kind of bounced Noah around to help the team a lot, okay? So meaning like early, he's like, I'm going to sprint, man. And we're like, good, do it. But we also like, we kind of pushed it into like, in high jump, it was like kind of not going great for a while, but then we brought it back at the end of the year, and we figured it out a little bit again, okay? But we also had him do some triple jump for the team, and some long jump for the team, and the biggest thing that he served the team in this year was the 4x4 relay, which is really cool. The 4x4 relay is, like I said, it's tough. He's a freshman, and so we had to ask him to pony up and get in there because we were kind of searching. We kind of knew we had 3 legs, like these upperclassmen guys that wanted to hit it, okay? But we were looking for a 4th leg. We were like looking for the one, and we had to settle on it. We eventually had to be like, it's Noah. Because I remember having a conversation with some of those boys, the high school boys, or the senior boys, going like, who's going to be it? They're like, Akeem, right? Okay, so we went with him. So we think, oh, and I should say this, toward the end of the year, when it was championship time, he just ran 4x4 all the time. Like that was your main thing. You just come, that's all you do, right? Okay, so he just said it every time, which is good. But at the freshman meet, he ran 12.11 in the 100, which that's really, really good. Like, and he was flexing on dudes. And so we think he's going to be really nice. He also, what's near and dear to me, is he's got an interest in track overall, and then maybe like thinking about being a decathlete later on, like in college maybe or whatever, which means you do 10 events, you're just a straight step, which is good. I like that because I'm like, because then he comes to practice and I go, no, come do this one with me. Okay, so like I know I like that just gets me kind of like dorky about it, but it's really good. Okay, bright future, no, yeah. Okay, yes, low right, Aiden low right, give me a hand, above hand. Okay, Aiden came to our team for first year, and when he first came in, we didn't really know what we needed him to do either, okay? We knew he had, like, he's got a big body, he's coming into it, kind of as maturing, and so we knew that. And I think pretty early on, maybe the second or third meet, this is kind of my pattern as a coach, okay? If the kid doesn't know what they're doing yet, then I go, you're running the hurdles, man! Or like that kind of thing. I was like, 300 hurdles, try it! Okay, so I think we tried that maybe. Yeah, okay, so I just threw him in there, man. So he hadn't done it very much at all. And the first time you do 300 hurdles, you go over them, but you look like garbage. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's just what you do. And so he did it though. But he did it with a great attitude, which was really good. And so as the season went along, he improved, his times came down, and he started to figure out that he likes it, and that he wants to get better. And it was nice for me, because instead of like having a negative attitude, like, man, I'm not so good at this yet, what are we doing? He was just willing to learn, willing to be like, how can I get better, man? He came to me with that all the time. And even more maybe than I was able to help him all the time, which is really, really cool. So I think in the future, he's going to do really well. Like I said, I think he's a guy that's going to continue to really, like in the next couple of years, he's going to get into his man body and just start smashing. It's going to be a big deal. Hey, both right, good man. Okay, Carissa, Post, give her a hand. Carissa. Okay, Carissa came to us too. She didn't quite know exactly what she wanted to do first either, right? That's right. So at first, we were like, let's do some sprints and such. And so we did a little bit of that too. We found out that that's an okay area for her. But one thing that I kept doing is saying, like, you're strong, I think you can throw stuff. Okay, and so we started to be like, try this. Or like, so there was a lot of times at practice, and Coach Whit will notice, where Chris is like, which training do I go with that I have to be like, try this one? You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of that. But as the season progressed, discus, shot, javelin, discus especially I can remember, right? There was discus started to take off, where she started to figure it out. Okay, so I think that might be a thing where, okay, I'll tell you this. So like we noticed this after meets. I have this happen to me a lot. I go through the results and be like, okay, so-and-so did well, good. Oh, PR for so-and-so. Oh, Chris, you're really good at this. Like I didn't know until it happened, right? And so she's starting to move up in the throws. I think that's going to be her home. Also, I should say this. Super important part of the team as far as always checking on how people are doing mentally and like emotionally. She even does that to me, which is kind of cool. You know, as the coach, you don't always expect that from kids. So it's really like a nice, helpful little piece that she brings to the team beyond Carissa. You're right. Okay, Tomas. Yes, get over here. Just Tomas. Give me a hand. Tomas right there. Okay, Tomas. One thing that's really nice. He comes in from. Well, last year didn't do it. It was kind of weird last year, but here he's back. But I always knew this, that he's got a deep interest in hurdles, and so I was like, I tapped him out. I was like, hello, man. Okay, which is really good because we always have kids on track teams that are like, I can run fast, man. And you're like, cool. What else can we do? Because there's a lot of fast kids, you know what I mean, or whatever. But hurdles is kind of his main bag. Okay, so he's kind of a really valuable track athlete, and I'll kind of say the same thing about him when he gets up here. But he's the guy that does this hurdle, pole, which is like two events that are like rare. You know what I mean by rare? I mean they're just kind of like a little bit odd, and not everybody does them. So if you get good, super valuable. So it's hurdle time. Finally, he's coming down. He's under 20 now, which means he's legitimizing himself. And then in his 300s, he's legitimizing himself as well. And pole, he's just starting to figure stuff out. We had some fun times where I was like, hey man, so this happened a lot. I'll tell you guys this. Pole, there was a time where, as a coach, it's kind of like this. If you know anything about basketball, sometimes kids shoot shots that are not good, and the coach will go, no, and then it goes in, and you go, yes, right? And that happened. This happened to him a lot of times. He'd pole ball, jump off the wrong foot. And I'm like, oh man, you made it. Good job. You know, I'm trying to say that happened a lot. So, anyways, he's figuring out how to do it right, and it'll help him. And in the future, he's going to be pretty darn good. Tomas, give me a hand. Tomas. Okay, next, Wyland. Good Wyland man. Wyland Organico. Okay, Wyland came to us, and he's quick. Okay, he's real quick. He's quick down the blocks. He's just a quick dude. Okay, he's not the biggest dude, as you can see. Okay, but he's a quick dude. And so when he came to us, first of all, we're like, you can sprint, man. You can do that for us. But then also, just because of maybe his wrestling background, like his core strength and stuff like that, it was almost like a foregone conclusion. We were like, get a pole, man. Okay, like we were doing that, and he was like, are you sure? I was like, yes, good, okay. And so for him, he was kind of like, just took to it right away, wasn't afraid of it, okay? So like that's one thing, sometimes when kids want to pole, like they're afraid of it, kind of, you have to deal with that. That was not so with him. You're not afraid. Then we tried to teach him the technique, which took some time, and we're still working on it. But toward the end of the year, it's kind of funny because toward the league and districts part, okay, I just knew that this would happen for him, and it kind of did to an extent. Is that when you get to that point of the season, you just start like you step up your game because the other dudes around you are doing good. And you're like, okay, so these little weird things I do when I jump or whatever, I got to start getting rid of those. And he started doing that just naturally. I knew that would happen, and so he did. And so I think he ended up doing 9.6, 10, something like that, 9.6. Okay, so he's got more in the tank though. Like physically, he's got more in the tank, and I think he's going to do more for us. So Wyland, there we go. Okay, next Sawyer. so he comes to our team, and we had to do some other stuff too, some triple jump and things like that, which are oddly good at. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know, okay? Anyways, he's got springs, so so Sawyer gets made fun of a lot, and it's in his nature, okay? But he gets made fun of a lot in practice because he's got this like bouncing stride, man. He's like a gummy bear, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, anyways, and so we make fun of him a lot. So in practice, we're like, yeah, man. He just kind of goes like that. But long story short, when we went to meet, his times came down, and one thing we asked Sawyer to do a lot is to like, well, it could be dredge, I suppose, and he did it too. But the triple crown, meaning you go to a track meet and you're on the 800s and 132. That was basically his diet the whole time. We're like, again. Okay, and so I don't always do that to kids, but he can handle it. The thing is, he can handle it, and so we made it work. We're thinking that maybe going forward, his best event's going to be the 800. I think 816 because he's got some speed. He just hasn't totally believed in it yet, but I think he will. And so it's going to be cool because he's got some spring in us. So I think it's going to bear itself out in a race where you got to run a little faster, maybe a half mile. I think we should be good. Okay, he's really fun to have on the squad. He's working hard now off season, and he's a cross country guy too. So you're going to hear more about Sawyer. Sawyer, you're going Okay, last time, Elton Rodney, get on the net. Yeah. Okay, Elton, also kind of in the same vein as Thomas. He's hurdler and then pole vaulter. Nice. Okay, so he does the niche stuff, which is awesome. Okay, and so it was interesting with Elton. Early in the season, okay, we're talking first week 2, 3, 4, whatever. He was kind of dinged up. We were trying to get him in shape, and so there's a couple meets where he's couldn't really compete that well, or had to stop or whatever. And so it was a little bit herky-jerky to start. You know what kind of happened in a way. But then one thing we noticed as the season went on is his time started to come down. And it wasn't just me. Okay, it's kind of a cool feeling on the team when other kids are watching. And I got this comment a lot about Elton was this. Elton's in there, man. I go like this, Elton's in this first team. Yeah, Elton's in the fast team? Yeah. That happened a lot, okay? And his time started coming down too. Now, the cool thing about Elton is this. His time started coming down. He started being relevant. And my wife and I noticed that when we were putting awards in his envelope, we were like, Elton's a whole bunch, man. Because he was a hurdler and stuff like that. So he's got quite a few. But we think when his technique continues to be refined, he's going to be really good. Because he's still a rookie. Yeah, he's still pretty much a rookie, but he's still making his mark. And so we think you're going to be good about this guy. I think he's going to be pretty good. I remember Kyle, my brother, and I saying a lot you know he's going to be decent? Okay, Elton, you're in. Okay, give it up one more time for your first year medal winners. Go ahead. Nice job. Okay, we're going to bring up our second year medal winners. Here we go. Okay, so when I say your name, come on up here. And then you're going to come up here, okay? Now, some of you, it's going to be, so here we go. If I say it, here we go. Atticus, pull us, here we go. Sawyer, Atticus and Sawyer, and Asher, to an extent. The three boys that were all chums, you know what I mean? Okay, Atticus also, I'll go back in the past a little bit. When Atticus first turned out for us last year, okay, so I'm going to test this with some kids who were on the team. Atticus was we didn't know quite what he was going to do. Neither did he, right? Hey, what could I be good at? He tried a lot of throws, he did some of the shorter runs, he did some jumps and things like that. He did a little bit of that this year too. Remember when you landed on your back? That was cool. That was really cool. Okay? Yeah, he did the back guard. Yeah, it was really nice. Okay, but at the end of last track season, Atticus ran, I think maybe 800 or something like that, and we were we got it. Okay, so we came to him and we're Atticus, you can do distance run. And he was like, are you sure? Or whatever, that made it happen. So one thing we found this year, that was the right choice. Atticus is coming on. Okay, because 800, 1632, he's doing well in all. For him, his highest success rate this year, especially when it came to championship time, 2 mile. The 2 mile. Okay, and that's the 8-lap race. And so we noticed, and he made it to districts in that, which was sweet. Okay, and so he was able to secure his way. And that was a big goal for himself. He was able to get. Okay, and so we got it in there. One thing that's kind of nice is toward the end of the year, at districts up, that's as high as he was able to go. The one thing that was kind of cool, it was like a little seed that I planted with him, and it was kind of a challenge to like actually his friend runs. I was like, you're running 2 miles faster than Ashley in these years. Okay, whatever, which is like, you know Ashley's good. So that's a compliment, okay? It's not a slight, it's a compliment to you. So, we think he's got more in the tank. He's a big, strong kid. Atticus, good man. Okay, Mariah Weiser, your hand. Mariah, yes. Okay, Mariah's been with the team a long time. Okay, but since like middle school all the way through, okay, and so Mariah does a lot of different things for us too. But basically, okay, if I wanted to like boil it down, if it's a jump, we have Mariah do it. That's what I'm saying. Like she does it all. Okay, so in her career, we've had her long jump not too much. Like that's not what we went to too much. Triple jump, high jump, pole. You're doing them all. Like that's what we just did a lot. Okay, and then it ended up being like 4x2 or 200 a lot of times. Okay, now what do we attribute that to? These long legs here. That's what we do. Okay, so like basically when we do high jump or whatever, we're just like Kyle would tell her a lot, just jump a little bit and you're already over it because you're huge or whatever. Okay, so that kind of stuff happened. When it came to, I need to say this, when it came to our league championship for the girls, Mariah was pretty influential, pretty important because she scored points, like I said, triple jump, high jump, pole vault, okay? She scored in all of them, and the 4x2 of course as well, okay? And so she was an integral part of that league championship. And what do we need to do as a senior, right? To help cement that. And so we were really happy about that. Also came to stay with us as an alternate. It was really helpful when she was there too. And it's always like really cheers on her teammates. She's a true high through and through. Mariah Larson. All right, Josh Bighead. Here we go. Go ahead, Josh Bighead. Okay. Yes, he's good. Okay, Josh came out for our team this year. Okay, now he's a second-year guy because like he came out for a minute, like right before we had to do the COVID stuff. You know what I'm saying? Right? Okay, that was the worst. But anyways, so we let her in, and well, all the kids that time. But anyways, so he's a second-year guy. But for real, as far as his high school experience, apart from junior high, he did some track in middle school. Okay, but as far as high school, first real full season, right? Okay, and so we were happy to get him out. Number one, okay, the team was as far as his affect and his psyche and that kind of stuff. But number two, dude's a weapon, man. Like we were happy to have him. And so like I found myself saying a lot as the season went on, and the coaches would start saying it too. Yes, Josh is awesome. Man, you should have been doing this the whole time. He said that a lot. We were just saying, why didn't you do it the whole time? But hey, the hindsight's 20/20, man. Like we were just doing it right now. Okay? And so Josh's big thing was he came out and he knew he was a jumper, man. He wanted to jump, okay? So basically as the season went on, we had to do the 3 jumps, long jump, high jump, triple jump, and 4x4. And we did some 4x1 too early also, but then we ended up going to 4x4 real serious as the year went on. Josh is he's quick off the ground, man. He's just like got the springs in his legs, and we love it, okay? And so we knew the triple jump was going to be his main deal, and it was, okay? We also found the high jump really started to explode toward the end of the year, and we made some noise there. And then at 4x4, he was a really integral part of that too, that made some district team as well. Okay, and I'll say one last thing. He made it to state this year, okay, in the triple jump, which is arguably for me, it's kind of my baby. It's like my favorite event, kind of. It's kind of my baby, you know what I mean? Like, because that's what I did in college and that kind of stuff, and so I know a lot about it. I have this like special place for like triple jump kids. Anyways, so he did it, and he ended up. It was kind of really nice for me because he did all the training and like he listened real closely, and you always know that things went well if you go to state, you do the best you've ever done. Okay, and he did that to take a 3rd place medal at state, which is like basically first year in high school, he just goes in there and like slides in there, and he was like 1 inch off of second or half an inch or whatever, right? Okay, yeah, quarter inch even. Okay, whatever. But I mean, so meaning, hey, bronze medal at state, your first full year, that's legit, man. Okay, so we were so happy to have him. Last thing I'll say, Josh he's really fun to coach because he's always out, man. Like if you just give him a challenge, Weston attested to this, Weston and I were talking about this. He never goes into it thinking he's going to do bad. He doesn't do that. Okay, so I like it. As a coach, you're like, it really pumps you up. It's really good. Okay, give him a hand. Josh, give him a hand. Second year, give him a hand. Okay, third years, here we go. Yeah, okay. This is a lot of kids right here. Here we go. Okay, when I say your name, call out here, okay? First, Johnny Jerome. Johnny. Maria Cox. Come on, Maria. Christian Lopez. Come on, Christian. Yes. Zaya Escondido. Okay, Casey Osborne. Casey, come on. Asher. And Abby Conn. Abby, come on up, Abby. Okay, here's your third year, okay? Third year winners, all right? Okay, let's start with Christian. Come on, Christian. Okay, Christian Lopez. Yeah, Christian. Yes. Okay, Christian is, he's been with our team for a long time, and then also he's a middle school guy too, so he's a long time with the squad. Christian does throws. Shot put, discus, jab. That's what he does. Okay, and on occasion, when he's forced into duty, he will dust off the spikes and get in a relay for us when he's like forced into duty, but anyways, and he does a good job of that too. But, so, shot, disc, jab, and he's, you know what's kind of interesting about Christian? He's really a jack of all trades. There's not really one of the throws that he's wicked better than any of the others. He's just pretty good at all, so he's a real utility man. That's helpful for our team. When it comes to his throws, one thing I like about him is he's a speed thrower, meaning like when he throws the implements, he flies across the ring, man. It's like he's the lightning. So when he catches one, when he catches it right, it goes far, man. So it's a cool deal. And also, the thing that I always really enjoy about him is that whenever it's time for like you know, because track practice sometimes can be like monotonous or mundane or whatever, he makes the hype happen. He gets the guys going. I might be losing on that going, but maybe not. Anyway, so he gets that going, okay? So we really appreciate that too. And so he's a stud in that way. So, Christian, Lopez, your hand. Okay, next, Johnny Jerome, your hand, Johnny. Okay, Johnny is also a thrower for us. Been with the team a long time, okay? Johnny shot disc jab. And for him, it's funny because in his career, I found this at different times, at different like points of the season or different seasons even, different throws have gone better, if that makes sense, or like different ones. And so like as of late, like the javelin went really well this year, like especially toward the end of the year, okay? The shot and disc has gone well as well, but javelin is kind of where he helped us the most, and then discus he actually figured it out toward the end too. Discus is the one who made districts, okay? It was really cool, okay? And so he was able to sneak his way into districts, and we were happy about that, so it's really awesome. Johnny's real consistent, okay? One thing I need to say about John that's really helpful to me, and I'm going to miss a lot, is beyond just his track prowess, is Johnny is really reliable when it comes to like helping with getting things like set and ready whenever we have home meets and stuff. I go to Johnny a lot, like where I'm like, John, help me with this thing, man. Make this happen. Make this sector. Do all this kind of stuff. Johnny's like, he's the man on the spot, which is really cool. And so I'm going to have to search for a replacement for that, which is like sad news for me. But he's moving on to better things, so we're excited about that. So we're going to miss having him around. We're going to miss his presence, his leadership presence. And that's Johnny Jerome. Give him a hand. Okay, next one, Maria Cox. Give her a hand. Okay, Maria's been with the team a long time as well, okay, since middle school, okay, like we can remember those days fondly, which is awesome. Okay, Maria, for us, is real talented and does a lot of different stuff. The main places where she stays are sprints, the jumps, long jumps sort of thing, okay, but also she's relay champion for us as well, too, okay. As far as her season goes, as a recap, Malia was able to make it to state with all 4 of her events, which is difficult, which is a difficult thing to do. Okay? Now, more difficult to do is to, in all of your events, make it to the finals at state. Okay, that's also really difficult to do. She did that too. Okay, one more step that's even more difficult is to get a medal in all of your events at state. Malia also did that. Okay, which is really, really cool. And one thing that's fun for me and fun for like my wife and people that have been with the program a long time, we put our heads together when that happens and goes, man, I don't know if anybody's ever been able to do that before. Oh, wait, I think there's one person, your sister. You know what I'm trying to say, right? So there's that cool family connection where we're like, nice, that's really cool. And so for Malia, that's really awesome to be able to do that for her own self too, and make her own mark, which is really cool. So things that ended up happening really, really good for her is that at state, she long jumped 1511, which is the best, and that's like the third best in our school's history, which is really good for a medal there. 200, PR there too, for a 7th medal, I think, 7th is what it was, right? And then our girls 4x1 took 7th as well, she was a part of that. And then our girls 4x4 took 3rd at state, which is nice. Okay, they were just off school record, like a second and a half off a school record, which is like maddening, but still cool and really, really good. Malia has come into her own, and she's really got this like set of tools that's it's unique to her because she's kind of a little bit of a taller sprinter, and we think that maybe between myself and my wife helps with this too. We might have her convinced to run 400 real serious like next year. That might be a really, really good thing. She's like, I don't know, man, but could be good, right? Could be her best thing, so we'll see. But it's going to be really exciting to see her come back as a senior and just, hey, with what she was able to do as a junior, if she puts the hard work in, continuing, it might just be something for the record books, which is really, really cool. Malia Cox. Okay, next. Casey Osborne, Hanson, give her a hand. Come on, okay, Casey also does a lot of different things for us, but like one of her main things, triple jump, right? Okay, which is cool, and it's like one of her main things that she likes, which makes me go, yeah, I really like that one, which is cool, and I've been coaching her in it for a long time, and so for Casey, I've had her since middle school, and then in basketball too, so I've known her a long time, even since she was like even smaller than that, okay? But, so Casey, for us, triple jump, high jump, okay? And then she's part of the relays as well, okay? And so she ended up going to state at 3 different events, okay? Both relays, and then also the triple jump as well, okay? Just missing high jump, you couldn't go like whatever, 8th or 9th or whatever, just barely missed. So one thing that was cool about her high jump is like during the middle of the year, we kind of hit a point where we're like, what are we doing? What can we figure out? And so it was really nice because between her and Coach Kyle, they started to figure it out. And so when things were going good, I think it's still like, it's going to be good. Like, and so we're excited for next year to go ahead and like go over the top in that one, in that event particularly. But as far as the 4x1, we knew she'd be a good part of that. We knew she was, because she's a quick starter, we always put her first and that kind of thing. And then it's her triple jump, really like, it's kind of funny because she's so consistent, like, and so I make fun of her a lot of times with that because she triple jumped basically the same distance, like 20 different times. You know what I'm saying? 31, 1, 31, 5, 31, like, they're all almost exactly the same, which is great because she'd always place really high and do great. And so we were like, so both her and I though, and her too, was like, when is the 32-footer coming? And so we were hoping for it. But the cool thing is that I was really proud because she was able to put it all together at state. What's the most important part to do it? Okay, so she did a 32-footer there. We think there's a 33, 34-footer in the future, so which is really, really cool. Okay, and lastly I'll say about Casey is we knew she'd be a part of the 4x1, but as far as the 4x4, which ended up being our highest girls placing thing this year, if you were to tell me, and Isabella will attest to this because her and I talked about it a lot, early in the year, Bella loves the 4x4, which is kind of like an odd thing, but I had told her, I was like, I don't know if we'll have the 4x4 for the girls. I'm like, I don't know if we have the guns. Like, I don't know if we have the people to do it. Okay? Because I'm thinking of like, Malia can do it. You know what I'm trying to say? She might not love it or whatever, but she can leg it out. Abby will do it. Abby, can run like the 800. She can just come down to 4, man, do it or whatever. But the only person that we were like, I don't know if she can do it at all. This one, okay? Because we're like, are you tough enough? But here's the cool thing, is over the course of like the last half of the season, Casey really showed that she is tough. She's tough and she's willing to run 400s, which is like, it's not a prissy thing, man. Like it's not a very like girly thing to do. Like it's tough. It's gutsy. And she's able to do that and do it and hold her own. And so it was really made me proud as a coach because she's a lot tougher than like she's gotten so much tougher than even I thought she was before. So it's pretty cool. So give her a hand to Casey Osborne. Okay, Asher Bagley, give her a hand, Asher. Okay, Asher. Okay, Asher is he's a runner, man. Okay, and he's like, okay. So let me tell you a little bit about his season. Asher ended up being able to go to state in the mile run, which is prestigious. It's hard to do. Okay, the mile run, if you're going to state in it, okay, it means that you run a mile at a very fast rate. Okay, like meaning like you run real fast, man. Okay, so meaning like, you know, I mean, those of you that can remember just going out and jogging a mile on your own, or when you have kids like do the PE, let's go do the mile in PE or whatever. Okay, you got kids rolling 9-minute miles or 11-minute miles. It's not like that. Okay, we're going sub 5-minute miles. Like we're cruising. Ashley does that. Okay, also ran the 2 mile for us. Also ran the 800 for us on quite a few occasions, and also we needed him for the 4x4 as well, which is a big ask. So there were several times where we asked Asher to run 800, 1600, 3200, and 4x4. Same, okay? And so when it came to league championship time, we did ask him to do that, and he did. Okay, it was super awesome. So it's kind of like, basically, if you can imagine this, get done running 2 miles where you bust your guts, and then get ready to run a 400 as fast as you can in 3 minutes. You know what I'm trying to say, or whatever like that. It's like, dude, you did so good. It's your turn for the 4x4. Get up, or whatever. Yeah, do that kind of stuff. But Asher has got a really great attitude. He runs religiously, and he's always smiling. He's really positive, and he wants to do really well. For Asher, one thing that was really cool is that as far as our school's history goes, there are several guys that run the mile and the 2 mile. Let's say the mile, because that's what we'll talk about now. Under 5 minutes. We've had 7. You know what I'm trying to say? We probably have like 6, 8, 10 in our school's history. But he was able to pull himself in front of everybody in like recent history. And so we had to start. It was kind of cool for me and the coaches because we had to go, the only guys that run faster than you were like the legends of North Beach's legends, like my dad, like the old guys that were like back in my day. You know what I mean? Like he was among the ghosts of the past, which is really cool because that means it sets you apart. And in order to go from that level of like, oh, you're a pretty good runner, to like run with the ghosts of the past, the commitment level goes way higher. You know what I'm trying to say? And so he wants to do that though, which is really cool, and it's kind of fun for us as coaches because we're like, we're going to go into the uncharted water. It seems like he wants to do that. So, Asher, Abby has been with the team a long time too, middle school on up, and had in several sports, basketball and track and those kind of things. And so she's been with me a long time, so we got a really good relationship. Abby has done, so for this year and for the years past, she does her own races, 800, 400, etc., right? She does a lot of relays, man. She's like, we call her a lot to say, like, we need you to relay. She's just like that kind of that perfect cog or that perfect person for that. So for her, this year she was able to make it to state in both relays, 4x1 and 4x4. She's an integral part of that. And then when it came to our league championship, she scored points for us in the 400, okay, and then both relays as well. And so she was making things happen for our squad, okay, so it's a really, really big deal. Abby also is a unique part of our 4x1 because she runs on the backstretch, and we do some kind of like cool stuff that makes our team run faster as a team. But it's kind of like it's technical, okay? So when she gets the baton handed to her, when she hands it to the other person, we have to do some things I won't necessarily explain right now, but are like they're different, man. And so like you have to have a good head on your shoulders. And so there's lots of times where I have to come to her and be like, you got to set your mark up like this, like complicated, where some kids probably couldn't handle it, okay? But she did make that happen. And lastly, in the 4x4, she started running some really strong legs, which is really cool because, like I said, in the 4x4, it's mostly guts. You know what I'm trying to say? It's mostly like, do you have the guts to do this? She does. Okay? Lastly, I'll say this, super good teammate, man. Okay? Like, really good, number one, student of the game, student of the sport, and also a super good teammate where she's looking out for other people and encouraging. And so we found that a lot. She encourages others and encourages the coaches too. And they make us happy to be around her. Happy to come. Okay, give her a hand. Put her in. There we go. Okay, 4-year-old medal winners. Here we go. Skyler Langston, number 1. Isabella Perez. Come on up there. And Western 3. Okay. Nice. No chairs, good man. Yeah. Bella is, it's interesting because for her, it's kind of like this bookend story, okay, where like when she was a freshman, that's when we had a normal track season. This is 2019, okay, if you remember back that far, and she came to the team, and we had, we had some like definite visions for the future. She's seen some really good things that year, whether it was relays and 800 meter, we were like, yes, okay, like some cool things happened. Then fast forward, okay, the next year after that, some weird things happen. The next year after that, COVID goes down. And so like this is kind of this weird bookend story where now as a senior, she's back and ready to do it, like full go, okay? And so we got her going. And so now, what else is also cool about her is that she's not only like a great athlete for us and a high achiever, but also a college student. And also like, I mean, she's got a lot of things going. She's going to college soon, like off to university and stuff. So, busy young lady, okay? So we noticed that from the beginning, that like, she's got to juggle some stuff, man, okay? So one thing I thought that should be a compliment to her is that in having to do that, she had to communicate with me a lot of times. Like if she's like, I got a lab, man, I'm going to be there after the team starts. And we go, so it's like, you're going to do this. And sometimes I couldn't always be right there. Like she had to just do things and like make sure things happen on her own. She was responsible to do that, and it showed in her performance, in her performances, I should say. Okay, now as far as she goes, she was able to make it to state again. 4 different events, okay, which is a rare, okay? 400, 800, rare combo. I'll tell you about that in a second. The 400, 800, also 4x4 and 4x1. So we got her into state for all 4 of those things. And it was interesting because one of the things we did as a team, without saying too much strategy-wise, but we knew we wanted to win a league championship. And so I had to come to Bella and go like, okay, which is like, it's a rare combo because they're basically in the meet schedule. They're right next to each other. Okay, like they're almost like at the same time. 300 hurdles is the only thing in between. And so it's like, yeah, it's just them. Okay, so we knew we had to do both. And so going into that, she's like, we have these like discussions where like, are we gonna do this? Okay, or whatever. She's like, are you sure? Like, yes, okay, like we're gonna do this. So we have this nice back and forth. But I remember this one moment where I was like, you're gonna do both? And she was like, can I do that? And I was like, you can. And I remember saying this, you're going to do both. And you're going to win both. So I was like, you're going to win both, okay, or whatever. And she's like, okay. Right. So anyways, so long story short, she did exactly what you said. One both, man. So it was really cool. But what that means, what happened was, is that she was able to like get into districts. And then even at districts, the 400, if I'm going to be honest, we're like, should we maybe not run this that fast or whatever? But she's too good. Like she had to just run it. She couldn't even bag it. She just made it to state. She's too good. So like we got her over there. So then at state, runs the 4, doesn't make the final. It is what it is. 800 makes the final. Runs a great race in there. And then like heartbreak, this weird thing happens, right? Okay, so like, yeah, we have this weird disqualification thing, which I hate so much, but I tried. But anyways, we'll gloss over that because it was a great run. But then in her relays, was able to be a strong presence in our 4x1 on the corner, okay? And in the 4x4, she's the anchor, baby. Okay, and the way we set up our 4x4, we set it up like this, kind of like our runners that aren't quite as strong to our strongest at the end. And Bella always got to have that last spot. So basically what would happen is our 4x4s would kind of be organized like this. We hold our own with Abby, and then Casey tries to hold her own too, and then Malia gets to catch people, and she does, okay? And then Bella gets to hold everybody off, man, which is cool. And so I can remember more than one time, even at state this year, and just a lot of times in her career, where she's the kind of runner where other kids would look at her, small stature, maybe not the fastest kid ever, and be like, I'm gonna catch her, man. I got it. You know what I'm trying to say? And they put it on, and then they put it on in the 400, and then you see them like, uh-oh, she's getting caught. Within the last 100 meters, she's just too much strength, man. She's just too much strength. And the other people, they just die out and go, it was just like always like this. Oh, so close, but Bella got you again. Like that would always happen, which is really cool. And it's great for our team. 3rd place finish in the 4x4 at state, which is really, really cool. Bella, there. Okay, last but not least, Weston for an Okay, Weston's been with the team a long time. He's a middle school on up guy, and so it's really fun for me and the coaching staff because we can remember Weston as grade 7 with his cowlick going, and he's like, hey guys, like we remember that a lot, okay? But Weston's come a long way in wisdom and stature, and so we're really appreciative of that. If I can just kind of look at Weston's whole senior year, football, he's a really influential player. Wrestling, he does really well, goes to state, and takes second place on the podium, which is really cool. Comes in the track, and we're just trying to finish it in style, man. And so Weston and I see eye to eye on a lot of stuff where we believe hard work goes first, and we're going to try, if we're going to do something, we're going to try to do it full on, and we're going to try to do the very best we can. And so I had a lot of conversations with Weston after practices and things like that about that kind of stuff. And so, and even some life stuff too, which is really cool for me, because it's a really gratifying kid to coach, because he really wants the best for himself and for the team. So Weston, he does 300 hurdles was his primary event. That's what he made it to state in. I'll talk about that in a second. Okay, he made it there. But when we talk about the boys' ability to win the league championship and have a strong showing in districts too, when we were going into that, we were kind of searching for Weston, saying okay, we know you're going to do 300 hurdles. We also know you're going to do the 4x4, because that team was vying for a state spot. We were trying to make that happen. But then, as far as his other two events go, we're he's a jack of all trades, man. He's strong and fast and agile and all those things. And so we were just looking at the form chart saying, what events are you going to do, man? Because he was going to score in all of them, but we figured out which ones he would score the most in. And so when it came to our league title, which was really cool, okay, in the 300 hurdles, he scored points for us, shot put, triple jump, and 4x4. So basically, we asked him to do a throw, a jump, a hurdle, and a relay, and he scored in all of them, which is super rare. It's just not normal. It's just not a normal thing. He's that kind of an athlete. He's special like that. Okay. Now, when we go over to state, he makes it in the 300 hurdles, and it was a really cool thing because we knew he was going to make the final if things went well, and they went well enough to make the final. But he was seeded 6th or 7th or something like that. 6th, yeah. And so he makes the final, and then going into the final, we kind of thought, if you run your very best, you probably still get distance. We kind of thought that. We're trying to say, even if he PRs a little bit, there's some guys that are ahead of him that we're not sure he can latch on to. We're not quite sure. So he goes into it. But it was kind of fun for me because I got to tell him from my experience, hey man, I've been to state a lot of times as a coach, 300 hurdles, somebody's going to fight the best. You know what I'm trying to say? I knew that, because it's just crazy. Everybody's going their hardest. There's hurdles in front of them. Something crazy is going to happen. And in the event, something crazy did happen. One of the lead guys just went down. He was trying really hard, and Weston took advantage of that and was able to slide all the way up to 4th in the state, which is really a huge deal. Yeah, it was really, really great. Okay? But one thing that's really cool, too, is that I got to, and it didn't quite happen, and it's all right, I don't care about it, but it just kind of will tell you about the sentiment that I share with Weston, that right before he ran, one thing we talked about the night before is that he said, Coach, if I can, I want to beat your time from high school. And I was like, please do, or whatever, okay? He not quite, he really goes, okay? But I was able to tell him right before he ran out there, and it's kind of cool as a coach to be able to do that to your athletes and say, hey, bump me down, man, do it. Make it happen, right? And so the time wasn't quite exactly what he wanted, but the placing was even better than he could have wished for, or what we could have hoped for. And so we were really proud of that. We're going to miss him a lot because he brings to practice and to the training a serious aspect. He's a fun guy. Coach, well, that's fun. Okay, he's fun, but he knows how to have fun and get work done too. And so we're enjoying what we do, but we're really taking dubs as we do it. We're going to miss that kind of leadership. Bless you. Okay, let's move into some specialized awards. Here we go. Okay, so for these ones, okay, Keona's going to help me out with this, right, Keona? Okay. Oh yeah, let's do these first. Okay, so first, we got some 4-year plaques, okay, so I'm going to get these kids to come up. Weston, come on up here. Oh, Skyler's not here. I'm going to do Mariah's team. Mariah, come over too. Nice job. Mariah, there you go. I got you. All right. Give him a hand. There we go. Okay, this award is for most improved. Okay, these are the most. Okay, these awards are voted on by the athletes, and then also, of course, fact-checked by the coaches, right? Okay, so we do that too. But yeah, so we do that. But the athletes nomination/votes. So we really like to do that. Okay, so first one. Okay, and this one, I'm going to have a certain person accept this on her behalf. Okay, but I'll speak about it first. This person couldn't be here tonight. However, we do want to say a few things. did not come out for track. He was a softball player the entire time, like even middle school, like that kind of thing. Finally, as a senior, said, I want to try track, because I think in 7th grade she did track and things went well, but then she went down the softball route, and that's cool, right? But we're so glad to have had her, because she didn't come out until about halfway through our season, because she just wasn't sure, right? And then she comes out for our team, and I can definitively say this: if she doesn't come out for our team, we do not win a league championship with stuff. Okay, because javelin, which are hurdles, like she's really influential for us. Give her a hand, even in her absence, and Josh will get it for her. Maddie, give her a hand. We're grabbing Maddie is here. Okay, now next for the boys, most improved. Here we go. Okay, this young man, we were kind of searching for the best thing for him to do, and he was a real team player, because even sometimes during his season, we asked him to do some things that maybe even weren't his best things, but they were best for the team at that time. Okay, so he was really courageous in that way and really team-oriented. But in the end, I think what sealed this for him is, like I said, description. When we were down at the freshman invitational, and it was that day. Okay, I'll tell you this too. This is a side note. This year's track season was very rainy. Okay, so anyways, so we were down there, and it was like the night before, it rained crazy at Ridgefield, which we were there. Okay, but on Saturday at Centralia, it was also raining, but it was like sun. It was this kind of weather where the sun would come out, and we're like, yes, nice, and then a big cloud would come over, and we go, no, it was kind of like Jekyll and Hyde kind of stuff. So anyways, this guy gets ready to run the 100, and it's really sunny, and we're like, yes, he can do the best ever. And right when it's time for his heat, because they went slowest heat to fastest heat, and it's time for the fast boys, and here comes the hail right at that right time. We're like, golly. And so, I'm like, what's going on? But anyways, he gets in the blocks, and this is kind of a proof of his improvement too. I told him, I said, hey man, I've been around for a while, trust me on this. You need to warm up way more than your competitors. And took it serious, man, because like an hour before his run, he's already out there doing his stuff. And so when he got in the blocks, all his other dudes, all the other guys that are like, I don't know, kids from Tacoma, Seattle, whatever, they're like freezing in their blocks, whatever, but he's bare chested and comfortable, man. Right? Okay, he's got a shirt on, okay? He's not totally naked, right? Okay, but anyways, so he proceeds to run a time on my watch, and I was like, I think he just broke 12 seconds, dude, and he almost did, but anyways. But, so, he's got a lot going for him in the future. He's probably going to win this. No appeal. Congratulations, Noah. Well done. Nice job. Okay, next one. Okay, yes. Inspirational. Here it is, okay? Now, we're going to give this kid a real hard time. I won't say a million things about him, but I will say this. Okay, the coaches can attest to this. This guy is always on, man. Like he's always on, okay? Certain things that he did that made us inspired. He would run his races, and here's some things he would do. During the race, he would do the dance during the race while running, okay? So he'd be like, yes, do it! Okay, he would just go crazy, okay? And also, there's guys that when they're running their races, you say like, good job, you can do it! And maybe they won't listen to you, or maybe they even do you a dirty look, like they're running, because or whatever. But this guy, you could almost get him to not focus on the race. You'd be like, you're killing it! And he'd be like, yeah! During the race or whatever. We're like, keep running, man. Don't stop, right? Don't stop for the party. But then also the coaches know, and Coach Wayne and I know that on the bus, he was the karaoke guy every time, okay? And he would do it every time. And his favorite songs are the girl jams. You know what I'm trying to say? He loves the girl jams, right? Okay, so he's not here. We'll have to give it to him, and you guys can, when you see him, Evan Bear, give him a hand. And I'll also say Evan, when it was inspirational, I think he got every vote, it was hands down, it's him, he's the one. Okay, now for ladies. For ladies, it was a lot closer. For the girls, there were several girls that were nominated, and rightfully so. You know what I mean? Rightfully so. But in the end, okay, I think that the team voted this way because of this. Because of work ethic, because of consistency, and also because of just the kindness that this young lady has. Okay, the kindness and one thing that I like and that I thought was really good about the inspirational part is that she seems to be performing at or above her like natural ability. You know what I'm trying to say? Like everybody's got natural ability, we know that, okay? But this person is exceeding their natural ability, and it's refreshing, it's really cool. And the kids see that, they recognize it. Abby, come on, Abby. Abby! Congratulations, Abby. Good job. Well done. Yes, Abby. You're in. Okay, next individual award. Okay, hardest worker. Okay, now I will say this. For the lady that we were talking about couldn't make it here today. One thing I should say though is couldn't make it, and this will give away who she is, but through her own life circumstances lives far away. Like lives all the way around the harbor in Westport or whatever, and so it's hard for her to get here. So that's kind of like proof of her hard work. She has to like legit commute to get to school here / practice every day. It's a big deal, okay, because of her family situation. But so we're appreciative of that. The girl puts it. Hey, she works hard every day, and she's the kind of kid that we see not even just track and field, but like during basketball season. She's like in here, like when I get here, or when Coach Moore gets here at 6:30. She's already like in the gym, like give me a basketball, man. Like it's pretty cool. But Skyler Langston, you're right. Okay, for the boys hardest worker. Okay, now I think this one could have gone to a lot of different boys because in my training group, okay, Joe's training group, there's quite a few guys that started to work hard, especially toward the end. Coach Blitz told me. And distance crew, there's a lot of guys that work hard every day, putting in miles and miles. But here's the way the kids saw it. Into this one. Okay, I'll give you a little just example. This guy there's a workout we do in the sprint group. It's called 300-meter repeats, and it's really awesome. I love it. It's my favorite. It's the best. Okay, but one thing the kids like, I don't know if the kids like to do it, but I think they kind of do like to do it, is they run super hard and they try to vomit. And then they do, okay, and then they do. Okay, and so this young man is like the leader of the vomit brigade, which is awesome. Okay, and so sometimes, there were several times this year where he would do the workout and then the vomit would come and we would like critique the vomit. Like what was in it? We'd be like, today, it's peaches. It was peaches a lot. It's Weston free. Weston free. It was peaches a lot, right? Yeah, it was a fruit cocktail a lot of times. Weston free. Hardest work. Okay. Next award. Okay, we got a few more here. Yeah. Okay, the next award is for outstanding track athlete. What we do is we kind of divide up the track field and an overall kind of thing. Okay, so this is the track. This is where the kids win as far as track goes. Okay, we'll start with the young man for this one. Okay, outstanding track athlete. This athlete, as I mentioned before, was able to really start to run himself into rarefied air, where in my years of head coaching here, okay, we've had several kids that have done distance running that have been good. They've been pretty good, okay? But we haven't had too many that have started to like get seriously good, where it's like, hey, people are talking about this person. People are strategizing based on him instead of the other way around, right? Okay? And so we just, hey, if he can continue to rise this way, you're going to read about him in more than just from me. You're going to see him at a state level doing big things. Outstanding track athlete, Asher Bagley. Well done, Asher. Yeah, and Coach Frank. Coach Frank helped him, yeah. Coach Frank, yeah. Okay, for the ladies, here we go. Outstanding track athlete for the ladies. Here we are, okay? This young lady just really had some cool conversations with her about track, about the running, that kind of thing. And so I'll just give you a little snippet of that. One thing that she said to me that I mean, her performance has obviously earned this award, but there's also a mental thing that I think solidifies it, is she said that, hey, I like the way that we approach track here, the way we train for it, because, man, it's a numbers game. And like it's how much time should you spend on this lap versus that one, things like that. And so she really bought into that part, and she's just an executor, man. Like there were so many times this season where I would tell her to do this, like run this fast, or run it and catch up to this person at this time, or so on and so forth. She's like a robot, man. She'd do it exactly like I said. It's just coach's dream. You're like, yes, right? So like, it's almost like makes you look like you're some kind of like gold medal coach or whatever, right? Which is really cool. But just a tactician, it's super tough. He's the fella up there. Okay, next one. Outstanding field athlete, okay? Let's get a drink here. Hold on one second. Okay, outstanding field athlete. This is for, all of our kids do field events / run events, but this is for a kid that like really shines in the field event. Okay, we'll start with the lady on this one. Okay, with this young lady, okay, she, like I said, and Coach Kyle can attest to this too, with her high jump, we really tried to learn more about high jumping well. Instead of just being like, hey, let's be an athlete and let's just see what we can do, let's learn how to do it right. And here's some cool stuff. In her high jump, when it happened right, it was a thing of beauty. And we think that it's going to be something that is a thing of beauty all the time soon. Okay, by soon we mean it's coming season, right? Okay, but in her triple jump, she was able to make it to state. First state medal for our kids in the girls in triple jump in a long time. And so this is well deserved. Casey Osborne. Yes. Haha, yeah. Casey, nice job. Okay. Okay, outstanding field athlete for the gentlemen. Here we go. Okay, and so I'll just paint a little picture for this one. 2 pictures. Picture 1 about how serious he is, and how tough, and how reckless in a way. Okay, which is like, but like by reckless I mean like reckless abandon. How about that? Okay, it's a little better. Okay, it's not like inappropriate, but reckless abandon. Okay, one time at one of the meets, okay, something happened. I think it was Ashley's fault. No offense, Ashley. Okay, but this guy basically got a huge puncture wound in his hand. Okay, and then we just like crudely wrapped that sucker up, and we're like, dude, you need to go to the hospital? And he was like, no, it's my turn to high jump. So he goes over there, and he's like bleeding profusely and still high jumping. Okay, and so that was cool. Number 1, he's tough and reckless abandon. And number 2, we took him to state. There's no who this is, but here it comes. When we took him to state for a triple jump, one thing that was really awesome is he was favored to get about like 4th or 5th or whatever. Ends up in 3rd. Okay, but one thing that was really gutsy, and I think is why one of the reasons he deserves this so much, is that he gave dudes a scare, man. Like when he was in the event, there's a guy that was clearing away the Akron guy or wherever it was from. Rainier, the Rainier guy, he's supposed to win. He's just supposed to win. Okay, like he's favored to win. He should do it, right? But he couldn't put it together, and Josh laid down the gauntlet. It's Josh. He's going to be alcoholic in a second. Okay, but he put one together early, where all the other dudes had to be nervous, man. They had to be like, I gotta figure it out, right? Okay, and the Rainier kid was running back and forth between pole vault and triple jump, and he couldn't get a big one, and things were happening. And there was a time when Josh was like first, like he was the leader, maybe second or whatever it was, like a quarter inch or whatever, but he was threatening dudes. And so in the end, a couple guys finally figured out and passed him, but he was basically exerting his dominance, man, which is really cool. And so he was like, it was really awesome for me to see that, and I enjoyed it as a coach because it was like, yes, one of my guys is really going for it. Field athlete, Josh Biggett, what? Oh, I should also mention while he's here, not surprised, I guess, but kind of, he was also the league champion long jump. He just did it. It's like, I went, you know what I'm saying? I was the league champ. There you go, give me a hand. Josh Biggett. There he is. Okay, here we go. All right, so this award is called the Most Valuable Athlete. Okay, so this is where the kids think that field event or track, just the most valuable on team. Here it comes. Okay, we'll start with the young lady on this one, okay? This girl, okay? I've said a lot of things about her already, so I won't say too much more. But I will say this, is that we've had plenty of conversations, her and I, about her becoming her own force on our track team and her own weapon, right? And I think this year I can say as a coach, and I'm hoping that she can say too as her own person, she's able to do that, man. She's able to like form her own legacy, and she's just going to build on it now. She's just going to continue to build on it because I told her even after the state track that hey, she did some things that I think the future might, if things go well, because you need a little bit of luck, the future might hold maybe a state gold medal, maybe at some point, maybe. Okay, and I'm hoping you got to work for it, of course, and a little luck, but that's what it is. Most valuable, Malia Cox. Malia, come on. The long block. Malia Cox. Most valuable. Okay, and most valuable athlete for the gentleman. Okay, like I said, most things have been said already, but so I won't belabor it. But he's just so tough, man. And as far as most valuable, in his primary event, yes, definitely. Okay, but in his secondary events, for our team strength, he just stepped up, and it was kind of this deal where he would do events that he did. And he would, in a good way, in a competitive way, but a good way, he would tick off his teammates that he would do better than in their event. You know what I'm trying to say? It was like, throw a shot further than everybody. And throwers are like, what are you doing, man? That kind of thing. But he's just a jack of all trades, and we're really going to miss his prowess and his toughness and his competitiveness. Most valuable athlete, Weston for you. Weston, go ahead. Good. Okay, now we're going to run this way. Weston's going to stand right here. He's stay right there. Good. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so since he's here, we'll do it like this. The last award that we give at this time, that is plaque type award, okay, is what we call the Black and Gold Award, we call it, okay? Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Black and Gold Blood, Sweat, and Tears Award. I made this award 5 or 6 years ago, and it's basically what the coach's award would be. And it's the award that goes to the kid that just exudes and encompasses what the North Beach High School track and field program is all about, okay? And Weston does that. Like I said, I've said all the things that I need to say about him, I think, okay? But I will say this, that beyond track, he's a valuable, solid, really grounded young man that's going to go on to do great things for himself in his future and for our country, okay, which is really going to be cool. And you guys know about his military commitment and that kind of thing. So beyond track, I'm going to miss him, and we're going to miss him in that regard. The track, we're going to miss him. We're going to miss his abilities, okay? But beyond that, we're going to miss his wholesome and his leadership style and his fun-loving way about him, but also the fact that, man, he gets work done when it's all said and done. And we appreciate that, and we're going to miss him so much in that regard. Black and Gold. Okay, lastly, I know that she couldn't be here. It's a tough deal. So I'll have a heart-to-heart with her when she gets here. But Black and Gold, okay, and so I know that Coach Frank will be able to talk to this. And actually, Coach Frank, if you don't mind, just say a little bit about it's Skyler Langston. Give her a hand. Skyler Langston. Okay. Coach Frank, Coach Skyler, a lot of the time this year. I did a little bit, but he'll say a few words about Skyler. Go ahead, Coach.
Well, I've had the pleasure of coaching Skyler for 4 years. She was a distance runner, and she was one of the toughest kids on the team. I can tell you, she ran hurt. She wouldn't let you know what was bothering her, and she gave 100% of her effort all the time. And it was enjoyable to coach, and I can say that about all the kids on the distance team. We worked hard, and there were no complaints really from the kids. They were here, hey, we're going to do what we can, and they got out and worked hard on it and had huge improvements. But going back to Skyler, she was a joy to coach. She really took her craft seriously, I guess is what I would say on that. Right, Coach?
Yes, sir.
She would be there. She would work super hard. She was very important to the team as far as her being able to score points for the school. And I can't say enough about her. She was fun to coach because of her effort, and she gave her all. And I was really impressed with the fact that she was hurt a couple times this year, and she wouldn't want to tell the coaches about it. Right. And she would just keep running hard and doing her best. So I'm sorry she's not here today. There's been a lot of nice things said about her. But anyway, here you go.
Thanks. Skyler. Okay, now, before I go into my gratitude section, I kind of accidentally glossed over one thing. We have fleet leaders, we call them, okay? Because, hey, here's kind of a magical thing. It's basically a captaincy of the team, but we call it fleet leaders because fleet foot, man. That's what we do, okay? So it's kind of the leaders of the group. I want to bring those kids up. Fleet leaders: Weston, Asher, Bella, Mariah Weisner, Zaya, Skyler. Come on up here. Fleet leaders, come ahead. Stand here for 1 second. I'm going to say one thing about this group. Okay? Now, like I said, I know you guys want to get home before too late, right? So I'm rolling, okay? But this group, I should tell you because, hey, you got to bear with me because a lot of things need to be said because the kids put in a lot of work for this. This group is really important because we try to run the program in such a way that when kids exit the program, like when they're a senior, like several of these ones are, that they're better people because they were part of it. We try to do that. We try. We don't always succeed perfectly, but I think overall, kids that have exited the program would say so. Would say that, hey, we're better because I did this. And these kids help make sure that happens. Between when we go to like away meets and we go to like go out to eat or go to like out in public, or when we're like at the meets and we got to do like the regular stuff where we're like, hey, set the stuff up, tear it down, make these things happen, tell this kid to be here, help with this, you know. All of these kids, and many of the kids do it too, but these ones were assigned to do it and did it with full fervor, and we're really appreciative of that. And so this group really steps up to help make the program as special as it is. So give them a hand for the leaders. Okay, we're at the point now in the program where I give some gratitude, okay? So kind of where I can thank some people for the way that the season went, okay? First of all, volunteers for meets and practices and for the meets themselves. They're a big to-do, okay? We had more middle school meets this year than we did high school, but there's still a big thing to pull off. Some primary players are like Eric Shepard, my dad's the starter, Patty Dow's the junior high coach, Fred Lowe too, Lindsay Fry, she comes and helps with the computer and that kind of thing. We had several people be announcers and such and runners, and so we appreciate all that help. And so if any of you that are with us here today helped as well, super cool. We appreciate that. You can't do it without it. You just can't do it without volunteers because otherwise you'll be up and quit. You just can't do it. So we appreciate that. Also, thanks for your parents for loaning us your kids. Man, you trust us with them every day, and you trust us with like us beating them down, you know, that kind of thing. And so, you know, we appreciate your willingness to do that and get them here, get them to meets, and like all that kind of stuff that we couldn't do without our parents. So we appreciate that too. So thank you for loaning us your kids and trusting us with that. Okay. Also, thanks to Coach Frank. Okay, his presence, poise, his wisdom. Okay, and we're just so happy to have him be Coach. We're regular partner now. We're going to say now we're committed. We're going to say we're in it. Okay, we can do it. Better part of the decade now. You got to keep going. Okay, so give him a hand, Coach Frank. Okay, thank Coach Dustin. Coach Dustin's first year coming on. Okay, it's been a real pleasure to have you along for the ride, Coach. You know what I mean? Like we have some really good times. Coach is like I really appreciate having Coach Witt because he's a high energy guy and he kind of like really likes to have fun, and which I do too. So it's nice to have my counterpoint in him that way, where we could just like really have fun with the kids and then and just enjoy what we do. You know what I'm trying to say? Because some of the hours are long, man. I can remember sometimes with Coach Witt on the bus where we're like, dude, there's a wreck on the highway. It's 1:30 a.m. What are we doing? And that kind of stuff. Okay, we made the best of it, man. We just made jokes and that's what we did. So, Coach Dustin, give me a hand. Okay, Kyle and I and New York Tigers, they give me a hand right now. Give me a hand. Good deal. Okay, I gotta say about both of them, they gave us so much of their time and energy and for the huge paycheck, not. You know what I'm trying to say? Like just to be part of the program because they love the program and they love the kids and they love me and their fellow coaches. So I appreciate that. And they know what the program is all about. That's what's really cool because when you have kids that went through, and they say this too, that the program made them better people, but they know that, so they want to instill that in the kids that are going through, and they do that a great job of that. So, you know, thank you. Kyle, give me a hand. Okay, this is my favorite part. This is really cool. Okay, this is for my wife. Okay, this is awesome. So, yeah, this is for Lindsay. Okay, so I'll give you that now. Okay. is she really likes to be behind the scenes. You know what I'm trying to say? Behind the scenes, okay? And so for that reason, I'm gonna thank her and also not call her up here and just tell her at the very end. I'll say thanks so much, okay, or whatever. But I'll do it that way. But she's the best track life there could be. Track is on an outside perspective, like if you're not in it, like if you're not the coach or the coach's wife or like an athlete. On the outside, it just looks like kids just get together and you're just like, let's just run circles, man. Like, or let's just like jump in the sand. Let's do it. It's like stuff like little kids would do, right? It seems like that, right? Just throw stuff, right? But on the inside, there's so much. If you want to do it well, there's so much that goes into it. When I come home and I'm like, I got to enter, like, there's whatever, 35 kids on our team, and I have to enter each one in 4 different events, whatever that math is, 150 different entries. Okay, I'm doing that, and she's helping. We have 4 kids, mind you, 10 and under, and we do stuff, right? Okay, so we're busy. But she's the best. Track is like, it's kind of like its own religion in a way. Like, I mean, if you're really into it, it's a deep deal, man. Like, you're 100% in. Okay, she's the best. She listens to me, strategy, triumphs, failings, when I'm like, we're terrible. Or, like, oh, we're so good. She's like, yay! Or I'm like, oh, we're so bad. She's like, it's not that bad. Or, that kind of stuff. But she speaks into my life and she supports me. It's really cool. She's always there to provide for our sons and our daughter and me, okay? And the other cool thing is that she's really present. Meaning, like, the kids know this too. She brings the kids to the stuff, man. It's not like, and that's one thing that she's done really well with, is that it's not me and the track team and her and the kids and just like the vibe thing. We've really started to push that together in a good way, and it makes it so that it's sustainable. It makes it so that it's really cool. It makes it so that it's right, and it's awesome. So I wrote this cool thing for my wife, and so I want you guys to listen to it. And our theme this year for our team was Ready, Set, Go. So that should tell you about what this is about, okay? Ready, Set, Go. Ready. Up with the sun, instantly on the run. She's the heartbeat that ignites it all. To rouse and ready our daughter and sons is never an order too tall. As our runners grind and our throwers wind and our jumpers strive for sky, my sweetheart works behind the scenes ready to fly. Set. The meals packed, the baggage racked, our loves all buckled in, the destination set in sight, and then the wheels she'll spin. While high feet are placed in blocks and ready at the start, my darling's busy setting us right. It flows straight from her heart. Go. The gun rings out, the crowd then shouts, the fleet-foots race for glory. Great feats are done, gold medals won, but that's just half the story. Before we ever set to go for all our lofty goals, she'd been going all along. Oh, what a precious soul. We are ready, we are set, and yes, we're good to go. We're clear to fly, however high, because she loves us so. I'm ready, I am set, and I am good to go. I'll always be because you're with me. Lindsay, I love you so. I love you. Thank you. Come on up. Give it up. Okay. All right. Last but not least, for those who know me, I'll say a couple. Just say one thing before we go. Remember, you need to get a booklet before you leave. Okay. Number 1. Number 2, you gotta make my mom happy. Let's take a picture of that then before we leave too. Okay. Number 3, make sure you take your dessert home. You don't need it. Okay. Or whatever. Okay. And lastly, I want to say thanks to the local TV station they're here, okay? And so Weston, they want to interview you before you leave West, okay? Okay, and we'll try to get Skyler in there too. Okay, Skyler's not here. We'll get another one for you too, okay? Yeah, before we leave. Okay, and so lastly, those who know me on a personal level, I'm a very spiritual person, so I'd like to thank God as well for this opportunity to do things that I love, okay? And through the sport that you love, how blessed am I to be able to do what I love and love the kids of our community and do that. And so I'm thankful for that too. I'm thankful for the opportunity to do that for everybody. Okay, and so it's my pleasure. So I appreciate that. Okay, so make sure you take a season booklet on your way home, and right when I'm done speaking here, so here's what you guys want to do. It'd be awesome if you could. If you got medals or ribbons or whatever, bust those things out. We'll take that sweet pic and we'll go from there. Okay. Hey, thanks for coming. Let's do the picture. Good night, High Yes. Well done.
Another accomplishment of Weston Free this year is that he was named WIAA State Athlete of the Week for track and field for his performance in Week 30 at the All-County Championships in Montesano. He's going to tell you a little bit about his meet that week and kind of give you the highlights of what happened for him that week.
So it was actually an interesting meet. I ran the 110s, and I ran a little bit off of PR, but it was a good run, and I started catching up in the end. I got third, I believe, or fourth. And then I ran the 300 hurdles, and that was an interesting race. It was not necessarily my best race. I kind of ran a good second off my PR. But it was a fun race, and the guy who beat me was a super nice guy. I ended up taking second. And then our 4x4 took third in the all-county meet, racing some big schools, some heavy hitters, some fast runners. It was a fun race. It was, I think, our best race of the season so far. So overall, it was a fun meet, and that's what happened.
Okay, also another athlete that we wanted to honor for Athlete of the Week for the state is Skyler Langston. Now, Skyler couldn't be here tonight for some family reasons, but I wanted to say a little bit about what earned her that accolade is early in the season, and this is only like our second or third week of the season. She ran both the 2 mile and the 1 mile at what they call the Icebreaker Invitational in Rainier, and she ended up taking second in both with personal records in both as well, and 2 times that ranked in the top 5 in the state in the early season going, and that's something we haven't had at our school in a long time. We haven't had a young lady be able to do that kind of thing, and if we fast forward, that accolade was really deserved because she ended up going to state in both those 2 events, the 1 mile run and the 2 mile run, and this is the first time we've had a young lady make it to state in those 2 events in a couple decades, in a really long time. And so we're really proud of that. And so it was well deserved for her. That's Skyler Langston, State Athlete of the Week.